Hey YouTube and Twitter. I'm making a video today because I was watching an episode of Timcast, and Tim Pool said something that kind of stuck with me, so I wanted to give my little 2 cents about it. They were discussing the 14th Amendment and whether or not it might apply to unborn children and the whole abortion issue. And he was talking about how the recent Supreme Court decision has reversed Roe v. Wade, and now it's in the hands of the state. And one of his guests commented that issue should be in the hands of the state. And Tim spoke up and said, I disagree. And he clarified by saying that he originally thought the same thing, but he'd been giving it a lot of thought, and he thinks that the issue itself is about inalienable rights to human beings. And he read the 14th Amendment, and in the second clause of it, it clearly states that, people, which means not just citizens of the United States, but people in the United States, have inalienable rights in a nutshell. One of those being to life. And his argument was that really all it would be would take a federal clarification of what they consider a human being to be in order for it to be a federally protected right enshrined in our Bill of Rights. And he said it was, or it seemed to be, as long as we consider unborn children to be people. And I thought a lot about this, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, we have a lot of rights that are enshrined in our Bill of Rights. The right to bear arms. And unless they change the Constitution, they can't really take all of our guns away, which is probably the only thing keeping us from going into total tyranny worldwide at this point. Like, I believe our Second Amendment protects the entire world, to be honest with you. Anyways, if indeed we do define unborn children as people, which they are, then he said it would have to be something taken up federally, and women would have to go to court to get, stipulations to where they could get an abortion. He didn't say this would outright ban abortion, because he acknowledged that, there are situations where maybe the mother is not a part of why she is pregnant. Because he made a really good point, and I've thought this for a long time. If you have consensual sex and it ends up in pregnancy, then you have pretty much agreed to get pregnant. And if you agree to get pregnant, what gives you the right to abort a child? Now, he talked about rape as an exception. People are going to karmically take on the debt no matter what of their actions. And if you get raped and somehow you decide that is why you need an abortion, maybe you really never wanted to be a mother, or you just can't deal with the trauma, or whatever it is. I'm not gonna harp too hard on those people. I don't understand their karma to begin with. I don't know if it would be bad karma to get rid of a pregnancy in that situation. I do think it would be bad karma to get rid of a rape pregnancy after the period to where which the baby inside has turned into a baby that has a heartbeat and nerve endings and can feel extreme pain from the abortion process. That is, to me, the moment where it becomes immoral to kill a child in the womb, no matter what. So if someone is raped, I believe if they want to get rid of the pregnancy, they should do it right away, and maybe even first grab that morning after pill. And if they're too poor to pay for it, somebody can start a GoFundMe. I don't care what you got to do, but get it paid for. Go down to your local, go down somewhere, find someone to give you money. Go panhandle, and instead of buying a hotel room and drugs, go buy the morning after pill. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little hard-hearted there, but I do think that we need to protect unborn children because we spiritually do not know the ramifications, karmic ramifications of mass abortion of children. It could be, I don't know this, there's no way I could know this, but it's very well possible that our world is a very spiritual place. For us to even be human beings and be what we are on this earth, or I should say what we have the potential to be, to me screams of a spiritual plane of some sort. And that spiritual plane has karmic law involved. That the only way you can become a sentient being is when you understand right and wrong. So as soon as you understand right and wrong, something has occurred, something miraculous. You've now entered the spiritual plane, whether or not you believe in beings or energies that can be outside of the physical of what we see. I'm not talking just things that are scientifically proven that we can't see, because there's quite a bit out there that we can't see that science has shown that is there, just because our eyeballs are not attuned to see certain frequencies and our ears aren't attuned to hear them, things like that. I'm talking about things that are not measurable, that could be right here alongside us. It's kind of hard to know if those things are real or not, because our science has not found a way to really prove that, because I do believe in the scientific process. So for me, a lot of things are up in the air. Not everything, but a lot of my beliefs are up in the air until some kind of scientific process has proven that it exists. Or my extreme common sense has just said, enough already, Steve, let's just go with this. But what I'm getting at is there could be karma. I really believe in karma. I don't believe karma has to be instant karma or even this lifetime karma, but I believe you do reap what you sow, and eventually you're going to have to pay for ill deeds that you do that are actually against natural law, which is just the laws of right and wrong. So when you do wrong, you're eventually going to have to pay for it. It's not a very scientific belief, but I really do believe in it because it makes common sense to me that that's why sentient beings would actually exist. I don't think they could exist without karmic law. It just doesn't make sense unless it was just some big probability math thing that we came into existence. And I don't believe that. So not believing that and believing in karma, it really makes me wary of abortion and how much of it is going on in the United States. To get back to our rape victim. So if the rape victim decides, I'm going to get rid of this pregnancy, does it in a way where it's gotten rid of before whatever is in the womb, the human being, the potential human being, whether or not you believe it's a human being at conception or not, I haven't made my full-on decision on that yet, but I do have a point of no return, and my point of no return is when the baby inside the womb can feel pain from their nerve endings and has a developed heartbeat. To me, that means that baby is something that you karmically cannot torture and rip out of a womb. That's just how I believe. And it makes common sense, it makes logical sense. Now, I'm not saying if we looked at the 14th Amendment, everyone would come to that determination as the point where they're acknowledging that the baby inside the womb is a person, but I think we could have some kind of general consensus that would be approximating not torturing something that's in the womb. Hopefully. At least it would be better than what is now, which is you could kill a baby up to the moment of conception in some states. And it happens for reasons where a lot of times it's left up to the doctor's decision, and the doctor deems it necessary for the mother's health. But the problem with that is that a lot of doctors think mental and psychological health is a good enough reason to abort a late-term pregnancy. And that's just not a good thing. That is very immoral. You are definitely doing infanticide of a viable baby that could come out of the womb and live. So even if that's the agreement, of a baby that can come out of the womb and make it and turn into a full human being, once we're calling it viable. Even if we put the line there, and that's where people become people, which is common sense, right? Then our 14th Amendment would federally make it to where abortions of a certain type cannot occur because we're protecting human rights. And when Tim Pool made this, assessment of the 14th Amendment and the whole situation that we're in our country, it made a lot of sense to me. I am an anarchist, and I don't believe in government. I believe in natural law. So for me, that is the closest thing in this realm that we live in right now of adhering to natural law, would be for certain natural laws, which we do have, to be enshrined in something that protects us from our government as much as it can. Now, we have those rights in our Constitution trampled every day, all the time. I'm not really going to get into that. But at least we're kind of acknowledging the fact that there is such a thing as natural law with the Constitution in the first place. Otherwise, we wouldn't need to tell government not to infringe upon certain rights. The fact that we do have to tell government that and enshrine it and make it a part of our society says a lot about government. It really does. And it's a big part of why I am an anarchist. I have this equation that I've come up with, and I think it will bear out no matter what, and it is government plus time equals totalitarianism. And it's sad to say, but unless we figure out a way to get rid of government, we're going to eventually end up in totalitarianism. That is the way that I believe. I also do believe that the universe is possibly sending us enlightenment gifts, and that's why we progressed in such a way to where we had, the Magna Carta, then the Declaration of Independence, then the Constitution, then we had, not the Constitution, but the Bill of Rights to be specific, and we had, the end of slavery. So there are certain moral progressive steps that are occurring that could be a signifier that we are actually spiritually progressing, even as dark as it looks right now, to where we are acknowledging that natural law does exist in baby steps. We haven't fully jumped into it and said, hey, look, these are our inalienable rights, and it doesn't matter who you are or what you vote or how many people are on your side. You cannot go against an inalienable right. It is not. That's lemming thought is what I call it. That's what I think the democratic process is. Because if you just have a majority rule with an uneducated and uninformed population, all you got are wrong law. I'm making up a term there, wrong law, That's kind of an Orwellian term I'm coining on the spot. So, but you're going to have wrong law unless the people understand natural law, and you understand that the laws of the universe are really the only laws that are real and acceptable on this spiritual plane that I do believe we live in, or just even to be a moral, justified society, even if you don't believe in spirituality or a creator or right and wrong. Even if you're an atheist and you can believe in right and wrong. I do think that's important, is that people need to understand there is right and there is wrong morally. Even if it comes out of philosophy and it's not a spiritual concept. I think it is attainable by most of our population, if we weren't brainwashed from a young age, to not see the reality of the situation that we're in. So, I think Tim Pool's concept is worth really getting behind and talking about and creating discussion about. So that is why I am making this video. I'm on my way to work right now, and I don't really want to mess around with my phone while I'm driving. So I was waited till I was stopped somewhere before I turned this video on, and I think I want to do the same thing to stop it. But I pretty much said what I wanted to say about the topic that I brought up. So I'm going to try one thing. I have a button I can push that usually stops like music and stuff on my radio, and it will stop whatever my phone is doing because it's tied to my phone. So I'm going to press that button and see if it turns this video off, and if it doesn't, then I am going to, I guess, maybe find something else to talk about a little bit until I get to work and I can turn the video off, or I get to a light or something. So I'm going to try that first. If it does work, I just want to say, you know, Twitter's pretty cool. I actually paid for it to get my whatever it is, my level to where I can post longer videos. So that is going to allow me to post videos like this on Twitter, which to me is the closest thing approximating a free speech platform. It's sad that it's mainly because of the person that owns it, and it's more of an individual reason why it's free than our society just understanding freedom. And it's not even completely free, but it's the best we got right now. So I'm going to start making content that doesn't just go to YouTube, it also posts on Twitter. You can check me out at Acoustic Stevo. That's ACOUSTIC STEVEO on Twitter. And I will catch you later.